Landfills.
I wrote her, I said, no, on the calendar,
Yeah.
Golden City, all those others.
I think she corrected her poster. I just,
And then it's not, we have to show up with t-shirts, we'll be support with the locked door.
yeah, right?
Welcome to the City of Lemon Grove regular city council meeting. I would like to remind everyone to please silence your cell phones. Thank you. City Clerk, would you please call the roll of the city council members to go on the record as in attendance?
Councilmember LeBaron?
Thank you, Ms. Deborah. Good evening to everybody in attendance. Welcome to our council meeting, and I am here.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Good, yeah.
Councilmember Snow?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gaston?
Here.
Mayor Vasquez?
Here. Thank you. I would like to ask our esteemed Mayor Pro Tem Gaston to lead us in the pledge. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to request to pull the payment demands from the consent calendar.
Councilmember LeBaron, the payment demands is not on the agenda this week. Finance Director was out on vacation and did not submit the report.
Perfect, thank you. If we had legal fees, I was gonna ask about them. Thank you.
As we do not have any changes to the agenda, I will move on to our presentation portion of the meeting where we have a proclamation for Public Works Week. And I have the proclamation here. And the one thing that I can say about Public Works professionals is that they really help to build, maintain, and improve cities. Without them, we could not exist. And so while they're truly the unsung heroes of our community, we will take this opportunity to recognize the great work that they do. And so I'll read the proclamation because there's some very important information here that I'd like to share with everyone. And it goes, whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital and important to the sustainable and resilient communities that we live in, and to public health, high quality of life, and the well-being of people of the city of Lemon Grove. Whereas the infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, and I'll say it again, engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. Whereas it is the public's interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the city of Lemon Grove to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest in understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2023 marks the 63rd annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association. Be it now, I, LaQual Vasquez, do hereby designate the week May 21st to 27, 2023 as National Public Works Week, and urge all citizens to join with the respectives of American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designated to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our nation's health, safety, and quality of life. Let's give our public works professionals a round of applause. I will look to our Public Works Director, Izzy Murguia, to share a few words, and then after that, I will present you with the proclamation.
Great, thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm happy to be here this evening representing our Public Works Department. As the Mayor mentioned, National Public Works Week takes place May 21st to the 27th. Since 1960, APWA, the American Public Works Association, has sponsored this week to call attention to the importance of public works in community life. This week seeks to enhance the prestige of public works professionals who provide and maintain infrastructure and services collectively known as public works. This week's also meant to recognize these professionals who serve the public every day with quiet dedication. Many of the public don't know that these professionals are indeed first responders, and in the late hours of the evening, when a tree falls, they're the first ones to respond. Sometimes when there's an accident, we come out and clean up the debris. But in addition to my fire and police colleagues in the audience this evening, public works professionals are first responders. This year's theme is Connecting the World Through Public Works, which illustrates how public works connects us all through infrastructure and service, enhancing the quality of life for the communities we serve. And it is our mission to improve the quality of life for our residents, our businesses, and our visitors every day. So with that, I'll be happy to accept the proclamation on behalf of our dedicated staff. Thank you.
Moving on to our general public comment portion of the meeting. During the general public comment portion of this meeting, the public may express their concerns not pertaining to the items on the agenda tonight. Please note that according to state law, the City Council is not permitted to respond to any comments expressed by the public. Now, if appropriate, staff will be directed to follow up with the speaker, or the topic may be brought to the City Council for consideration at a future date. Per the Monroe Municipal Code, Chapter 2.1.4.150, all remarks must be addressed to the City Council as a body and not to any individual council member. Each speaker will have a maximum of 3 minutes. When speaking, please observe the green, yellow, and red light timer at the podium. The red light indicates that it is time for the next speaker to approach the podium to begin speaking. City Clerk, do we have any speaker slips? Thank you so very much. First, we have John L. Wood, followed by Francine Maxwell.
John Elwood. First, Central Avenue is posted, no vehicles over 3 tons. Today we had 10 plus or minus dump trucks going up and down Central. Dump trucks by themselves weigh over 3 tons. We have this problem all the time. You don't know it because you don't live there. Sheriff doesn't go there because there's nothing going on. But somebody has to enforce no over 3 tons. Because the street's only been paved one time since 1983. I know, I've been there since then. SDG&E took over the Shell station and O'Reilly's parking lots on Friday. They installed 2 steel high tension wire poles. And that's at College and Federal. And why do they get to take over everything? There was no place to walk. They're coming from Central down to College. You have the one dispensary there, and then you've got the tire store and the VFW. They had the sidewalk blocked off. So I said, okay, where am I supposed to go? Oh, walk out in the street. Yeah, walk out in the street on Federal. Yeah, you bet. That's really smart. That's all I have right now. I'll be back later on the other item.
Thank you so very much. Next we have Francine Maxwell, followed by Becky Rapp.
Good evening, Francine Maxwell, San Diego resident, frequent visitor to the city of Lemon Grove. Recently, San Diego, had visitors from across the nation for Black education, student success. They came to your city so that they can go to the coffee shop, of course, because they wanted to go to a Black-owned coffee shop. The problem was Palm Street and San Miguel. Because you're out-of-town visitors, you don't remember how it's time to maneuver. And so this weekend, I was able to ask the mayor, and she was able to give me a thorough vetting on, we're waiting on parts, this is what's going on. And so maybe you guys can consider a coming soon sign or something, because you have a lot of visitors and they've come back to San Diego a couple of times and they want to go to that coffee shop, so they have to learn a different route to come. And so if they know that the city council, the mayor, everybody hears you, they know your concerns, we're waiting on parts, and however you want to communicate, but I just wanted to come and make sure I put on the record that I appreciate the mayor taking time out of her busy schedule to make sure that visitors like myself and other people that were there listening, because they come to Lemon Grove to go to Sprouts as well. So I just wanted to come and share that maybe you guys can think about how you can communicate this a little bit better, that it will be fixed, we know it, it's coming soon, or however you want to say. Thanks.
Thank you so very much. Next we have Becky Rapp, followed by Winfred Green.
Good evening, Mayor Vasquez and Council. My name is Becky Rapp. I'm a parent and a public health educator, focused on drug prevention among youth. And I wanted to bring to your attention Assembly Bill 1207, titled the Cannabis Candy Child Safety Act. I was here a couple of months ago and spoke of this bill, but wanted to update you and reiterate how important it is that this bill gain the support that it needs. California, along with the rest of the nation, is experiencing a significant increase in the number of children being rushed to emergency departments due to accidental ingestion or overconsumption of psychoactive marijuana products that often mimic some of their favorite brands of candy, soda, or snacks. The bill will honor the promise and intent of Prop 64 to keep marijuana and its products out of the hands and bodies of our children. The bill clearly prohibits marijuana products, food, packaging, and marketing that are attractive to children and youth. AB 1207 will also follow Prop 31's example by prohibiting flavored inhaled marijuana products known to initiate youth use, as seen with Juul and other tobacco companies. This bill is supported by dozens of organizations, such as the California American Academy of Pediatrics, the American College of Emergency Physicians, and the Public Health Institute, and the California State PTA. Today I ask if this council would consider writing a letter of support for AB 1207. The city of Encinitas is the first in our county to publicly support this bill, and parents like me would like to see more cities join in the effort of protecting children from drug use and drug addiction. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Next, we have Winford Green, and this will complete our public comment portion of the meeting.
My name is Winfred Green, and I live at 8365 Broadway.
Can you speak directly into the mic? Thank you.
My name is Winfred Green. I live at 8365 Broadway. I've been there for 32 years. And there is construction that is going on next door to our townhouses. Now, but I have complained about the noise and base operations, hours operations that they are building over there. But they will stop for a few days and then restart again. They start their day sometimes, a lot of times at 6 a.m. in the morning. And they have gone as late as 10 o'clock p.m. They even work on holidays, and they just work this last Sunday. That is every day of the week that we have to deal with building noise. And not be there in a classroom all along with children. I come home, I was stressed. Mama needs some rest. And I'm not getting young, so I can go. So, I complained about it, and I'm always complaining about it too. But nothing sticks. So I like you guys to find a way to get the property owners over there to comply with the rules. Not always the full, proof. Like on Saturdays, there will be 4 to 5 people, like that extra overtime. As well as today, and we go to work at, 10 to 10 o'clock. On Sunday, there were 2 men, one working and one just overseeing. Just trying to make it cash, but it's at my expense of my rest. And we need our rest as well.
Thank you so very much, and I will check in fairly quickly here with staff to see if there are any comments regarding the public comment portion of the meeting.
Ms. Green, I reached out to the project owners, Katie Homes, and I think a call from me may help ameliorate the abuse of time that they have for their permit.
Thank you so very much. We will move forward to our consent calendar. I'd like to know if I have a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. I will check in with our city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember LeBaron? Councilmember Mendoza? Aye. Councilmember Snow?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo?
Aye.
Mayor Vasquez?
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Public hearing, item number 2, is to consider the conditional use permit application for CUP 210-001, a request to establish a cannabis dispensary retail store at 6691 Federal Boulevard in the light industrial zone. That's APN-172-172-01-00. I'll check in with our clerk to see if all the notices required by law have been given and if the complete file of exhibits, correspondence, and other documents have been provided.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, all notices have been given and the file is complete. We want to add that all written comments that were received today are available online and on the net.
Thank you. Now I'll turn it over to our city attorney to ask the council if they have any disclosures, conflicts of interest, or conflict of interest related to this item.
I would just ask the council to provide, one by one, whether you have any conflicts of interest or whether you've had any ex parte communications on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll start with, Councilmember Mendoza.
None.
Councilmember LeBaron.
I have neither.
Councilmember Snow.
No conflicts and no disclosures, no ex parte communication.
Mayor Pro Tem Gastel.
Nothing to report.
And I do not have any communication or ex parte conversations to disclose at this time. Thank you. I will now introduce our interim community development manager, Bill Chopik, to present the staff report. And in this process, I will also open the public hearing.
Not working.
That's me. Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. Let's get familiar with the site. Okay, the site location at 6691 Federal Boulevard is an existing warehouse building. It's on about 2/3 of an acre, 0.67 acres. And the current building contains about 6,500 square feet of floor area. The building is vacant, was formerly used as the La Mesa Glass Company. It's been vacant for a number of years. The site is unique in that it is surrounded on the east side by Choyas Creek. Choyas Creek has a 6-foot-high chain link fence barrier that separates the creek from the site. A portion of this site does fall within the actual Choyas Creek itself. The site has frontage on Federal Boulevard and Central Avenue, with 2 access driveways from Federal Boulevard serving 2 parking lots in the existing building. This is a photograph of the existing warehouse building. The shell will remain in place. However, there is an interior mezzanine of about 1,350 square feet that would be removed and would reduce the total floor area to 5,080 square feet. That would be used for a dispensary and associated uses. This is a nice rendering that the applicant prepared for the upgrade, refreshing of the building. I'd like to circulate the color and materials board for the selection of the green color for the stucco, a wood trim that's been added to the building, and you can see kind of the signage scheme that's proposed. The entrance to the building would be on the north side of the building that you're looking at in this rendering, and the south side of the building where the glass enclosure is, that would be the employee entrance. So the main entrance would be here on the north side. These are some colored elevations, the 4 elevations of the building. Next slide, this is the proposed site plan. This would use the same 2 driveways. However, a new sidewalk would be installed along Federal Boulevard and turning to Central Avenue. Choyas Creek has a culvert that goes underneath Central Avenue along the edge of this site. The parking lot would be reconfigured with parking stall sizes that conform to the city's parking guidelines. With the floor plan, you can see here on the north side, at the right side of the slide, that the main entrance would take you into a lobby area. And from that lobby area where you would check in, you would then go into the dispensary area. You can see that a lot of floor area is devoted to office and storage uses that are on the left 2/3 of the building, with a delivery entrance facing Choyas Creek on the east side and the employee entrance on the south side of the building. Just to give you some history on this project site, it was in 2016, November of 2016, that the voters of the city of Lemon Grove passed Measure V that allowed medical marijuana dispensaries in the city of Lemon Grove. Since then, there's been a lot of activity with dispensaries. In this case, Element 7, the applicant filed a minor use permit on February 25th, 2019. That was for early separation finding. That MUP expired. It was approved in May. It's expired, and then again in September of 2020, the applicant filed another minor use permit for early separation findings and reserved this site for a dispensary. And that was approved December of 2020. On January 11th, 2021, the applicant filed a conditional use permit application for cannabis dispensary. And after 3 review cycles, on April 5th, the project was deemed complete, and here we are now to the conditional use permit. Conditional use permit applications for dispensaries are required to submit an operations manual. The operations manual calls for both medical and recreational use cannabis at this dispensary. The hours of operation are proposed to be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week. And the operations manual complies with Lemon Grove Municipal Code, Chapter 17.32, the cannabis regulations, which is a pretty long list of requirements for dispensaries. Conditions of approval, there are 63 conditions. With this conditional use permit, you'll see in your packet, the resolution, there are over 100 conditions. On this conditional use permit, 63 of those conditions are specifically related to the operation of a cannabis dispensary. Other notable conditions of approval are Choyas Creek. The city would require the applicant to provide an access open space easement for maintenance, weed abatement, removal of invasive species, replanting, and slope stabilization. Other conditions of approval are public improvements, new sidewalks and driveway aprons, and striping of a bike lane and parking lane along Federal Boulevard, similar to what's there now. Also, undergrounding of utilities is a condition. If you look at an in lieu fee agreement, there are some high voltage power lines that run along Federal Boulevard. So we would work with the applicant for probably an in lieu fee agreement for undergrounding, and a condition of not to oppose the formation of an undergrounding district. Staff made the CEQA determination here that this project is categorically exempt under section 15301 of the California Environmental Quality Act under existing facilities. In this case, it's an existing warehouse, 6,500 square feet being reduced down to about 5,000 square feet. So the floor area is less, and it's a similar commercial use. It's currently a warehouse use, now being replaced by commercial dispensary use. This qualifies for a Class 1 categorical exemption. The recommendation is that the council conduct a public hearing, receive public comment, and adopt a resolution finding the project exempt from CEQA and approving conditional use permit 210-0001 for a cannabis dispensary at 6691 Federal Boulevard. This concludes staff's report.
Thank you so much, Mr. Traffic, and I'm so accustomed to other titles that actually today your title is special consultant. So I just kind of wanted to get that on the record. I will call up the representatives from Element 7 to present to the City Council. You will have 15 minutes.
Good evening. Honorable Mayor Vasquez, council members, city staff, residents of Lemon Grove. My name is Josh Black. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Element 7. I'm here with three of my colleagues today. Ms. Christy Byers, who's our architect, Frank Ormond, who's our project manager, primarily on the construction, and Charlie Copeland, who represents the property owner. I've got some slides up here, and I just want to spend about 10 minutes of your time tonight to talk to a little bit more about our company and what we're trying to do inside. So you see the rendering before, apologies that the light doesn't show it up as nicely as it is, but some nice wood trim up there, beautify the building, add landscaping, sidewalks, and just generally improve the property from what it is today. If we can go to the next slide. So Element 7, we're an experienced team working in cannabis. We have about 120 employees across the state. As I said, I'm the Chief Operating Officer, which oversees all commercial functions, marketing, and operations. I previously worked at PepsiCo for about 11 years. Robert DeVito is the CEO of our company, has an education background. He's originally from Chicago, but moved to California in 2015. And then we have some other key people on our team, Sheila, Amber, and Nick. Sheila looks after legal. Amber is on our compliance team, and Nick is head of retail operations. So we have quite a diverse, experienced team. People came from all different sorts of industries, education. I was at PepsiCo. Amber worked at the Attorney General's office, and Nick worked with a large pizza chain company before getting into cannabis. Go to the next slide. We opened our first store in southern Humboldt in Rio Del, small little town of about 2,000 people. Opening a store in that small community presents a lot of opportunities, also a lot of challenges. Opportunities, you can have a huge impact in a relatively small community. Challenges are obviously driving traffic to the store and making it viable. We opened that store about 3 years ago. It's thriving today. It's done really, really well. And we've never had an issue. I have a great relationship with the city and the council and law enforcement and the fire team. Pretty much everyone. It's a great little place to go. We today have 10 retail businesses across California. The closest one here is in Chula Vista, about 10-15 minutes away. We opened that in July last year, been very successful, and worked really closely with the city of Chula Vista to make sure that that's operational to their expectations and standards. But today we have businesses expanding from Humboldt into Mendocino, in Monterey, Central Valley, and over in Ventura. Again, they're not all big communities. A lot of them are very small communities. Places like Willits in Mendocino, Fireball in the Central Valley, and we're forced in those communities to work really closely with the community because you have to build a reputation of trust, but also to really establish that customer base. And I think that's definitely a strength of our company. Okay, go to the next slide. These are some of the images from our stores. As you can see, or not see, we have a quite clean, aesthetic look, a lot of plants, concrete, and timber and wood. Because our population and our consumer base is more representative of the people in this room today than you maybe expect at a dispensary. And I'll show you some statistics later on around our customer base that sort of emphasizes that. We can go to the next slide. Some more stores. The bottom one on the left there is the Chula Vista operation. Go to the next one. The plan in Lemon Grove is to really build a dispensary that is powered by our vertical integration. We have grow operations over in San Luis Obispo, manufacturing and distribution out of the Central Valley. We create our own brands, which allows us to really sort of hit a different price point than potentially other dispensaries that aren't as vertically integrated as us. We really want to focus on education, making sure that people that come into our store who maybe haven't experienced cannabis before are getting the right education before we push them, before they walk up to the cash register. And that's really important because if their first interaction with cannabis isn't a positive one, then they won't want to come back, and that they'll be fearful and have apprehension about the industry and the products. We also obviously want to focus on delivery. That's been part of the reason why it's taken us a while to get to this stage of the process with this site. We wanted to have a robust business in San Diego County before we launched delivery, and Lemon Grove would be a big market for us to run delivery out of and drive customers from our other stores to create taxes in Lemon Grove as we deliver into other communities. Some of the security features of the site, Bill earlier talked about that secure lobby, and that's really important because it separates the street from the store and creates a natural barrier for people to have a welcoming check-in experience without all the products immediately accessible to them. We have dedicated data rooms, we use 4K cameras, all the vault rooms, places where cannabis is stored are aligned with steel plates on the walls for security. We have obviously, exit doors, fire safety devices, pretty much everything that you would find in a dispensary. But obviously, because we're a fairly newer operator, we've really looked at the industry over the last 3 or 4 years and adopted the best practices that we saw from everywhere across the state. Next slide. So when I talked earlier about our customer base, 44% of our customers in Element 7 stores are aged over the age of 40. So those customers require a slightly different experience and education level than perhaps younger people. They're not as maybe digitally savvy, so we spend a lot of time really educating our bud tenders so that the people giving the advice to our customers know what they're talking about and can guide our customers and patients on what the best medicine is. So that's it's definitely, we do skew a little bit more conservative, a little bit older in our customer base than perhaps other operators. Next slide. One of our calls is cannabis with a conscience, and that means we're not just a company driven by profits. We truly believe that we need a strong purpose in our business. Because people don't want to work for companies that don't have that. Customers don't want to shop with companies that don't have some sort of purpose. And our purpose is really education, social equity, and making sure that we really educate our customers and staff as best we can. Some of the things that we've done in other stores is we've run SB 34 programs that put cannabis in the hands of veterans that potentially can't afford cannabis but need it to treat PTSD and other conditions. We've worked a lot with companies like Latinos for Cannabis to help educate their people and give them opportunities in the industry. We've worked with social equity applicants in places like Oakland and San Francisco to help them open stores. And generally, really want to get heavily involved in the small communities that we operate in, whatever their needs are, whether that's dealing with homelessness issues or dealing with other social problems that we can play a proactive role in. Next slide. Compliance is a big part of our business. We have a full-time Chief Compliance Officer, Amber, and what that means is we're auditing ourselves before staff are walking into our building so that we're addressing issues before they become problems. Again, given our scale with 10 stores, that sort of position can exist within our business, which we think is really important because of the regulation in this industry. Next slide. Labor plans. Our labor plans are very broad and cover everything from living wages to making sure that there's continuous education and training. The more that our staff train within our business, the more they get paid, which is important. It really proactively encourages them to not just be a retail staff member, but build a career with our company. We have a lot of staff that have moved from location to location as we've grown, which has been great for people to build a career with us and really sort of get out there and explore life a little bit more. We have health benefits, matching 401ks, all that sort of stuff. Next slide. Safety is a big part as well. Every door has a swipe card. We have panic buttons. We have continuous engagement with law enforcement. We're happy for police officers to walk through our building. The site at Lemon Grove actually was being used by the sheriff and their drug enforcement team to help train their canine squad for about 6 months, about a year ago. So again, we're very proactive and want to work closely with law enforcement, to keep our property safe, keep our staff and customers' health and wellness and safety is absolutely a top priority. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into the building, whether it's roll down shutters or panic buttons or the best security systems we can get. Neighborhood compatibility is important as well, so making sure that there's a dedicated representative on the management team that neighbors can call whenever there's a problem, making sure that we have mailing lists so that any neighbor gets an update from us every 6 months about what's happening in the business, what's coming up, if there's issues with noise, parking, light, anything that may be an issue, we want to make sure that we proactively identify it and address it before it becomes a problem. And I think that is my last slide. Happy to take any questions after this, but I'd like to bring up Christy just quickly to talk about the architectural aspect of the project.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sure everyone can hear me. Hello, Mayor, City Council members, Lemon Grove staff. I think your special consultant did a great job of explaining the project tonight, so I'm just going to add a couple of details. My name is Christy Byers. I'm a licensed architect in the state of California, and our firm has been working with Element 7 in order to help them with this CUP. I think we have some slides. One more, just to explain a little bit more about the site. In addition to the improvements that Mr. Chopek was talking about involving the sidewalk and the reconstruction of the driveways and the striping for the bicycle paths, we also are introducing a new trash enclosure, which should be very positive for the creek, and also secure fencing to create a back of house area so that when deliveries come, there is a secure area for staff to be working with those deliveries. Additionally, we've got 16 parking spaces and then a 17th dedicated for those deliveries. We've got 2 accessible entrances, one at the retail store location and then a second one around the back for both the wholesale deliveries and for staff. Next slide. So as far as the floor plan goes, the retail area is 1,809 square feet. The back of house, storage, and warehouse areas make up 2,457 square feet, and the supporting offices are 814 square feet. As Mr. Black was mentioning, when folks enter, they are in a secure lobby that's very amply sized, so there shouldn't be any queuing outside. And then this is also a good size for a retail shop as well. And there'll be plenty of point of sales and also displays for cannabis, and everything will be secure and under lock and key. And then the rest of the location, again, is really meant to support delivery. There's a fair amount of storage, and then there's common areas for staff, break room, offices, and restroom. Next slide. So just a little bit more about the security plan. Every place that you're seeing a red dot is at least 1 camera. So this place will have really good coverage as far as security and monitoring. Next slide. As far as improvements go, we are doing a full remodel of the interior. Exterior improvements include some deferred maintenance, as well as adding storefront and wood at the dispensary entry, which goes along with the Element 7 brand that you were seeing in the other locations. And with that,